All right, I'm live again. Now, I still need to switch icons for when I'm doing the Hangout streams. I really still need to do that because I have a new updated avatar I like to use a lot. But for now, I'm just going to stick with the old one, just only because I still haven't figured out a way to change the avatar thing, ironically, which I don't know. I've been trying to find a way to change it on the Hangout sort of thing, and at the same time, not on the channel. Whatever. It's just technical issues that I always encounter from time to time, and it just gets annoying. So, in a second, I will do this. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to set up basically the link to watch, and I will be able to pass this along. That way, for anybody that's interested in watching, I can just post it on Twitter and people will be able to watch it. That way, I can let other people know that I'm actually here. Uh, and of course, there's the weird humming from the laptop, which thankfully it's not from the computer I'm working with right now. So as soon as I'm able to basically grab the link, move it over to Twitter, then just post it there, then I could easily turn off that darn laptop and and be rid of that noise, that annoying noise. Let me double check to make sure this link actually works, and presto, it works. Nice. So I have the link to watch and the link to also to invite people over works. Now, for those who don't know, I usually do these hangouts every now and then to give people a chance to talk about whatever they're feeling like. And it's sort of my way of um, also talking about certain subjects, also getting to know people, or quite possibly just or just quite simply put, just getting a new perspective on what that individual could be or what is. So, thankfully, I have the. Let's see here. There. So far, everything seems to be working. Uh, but yeah, lately a lot of things have been busy. For those viewers who occasionally watch my streams, if you don't know, I recently had my arts done with one person who did a fantastic job of doing my avatar, and she did a pretty good job with the with the thing being anti MGTOW, and that's all fun, especially with what she did in the background. I certainly love it too. Ironic, I just got done making another troll response to Ethro 3, and right after I'm done, right after I clicked end record, turns out I'm starting to get sick again. Ugh, I hate it when that happens. But thankfully, I just uploaded the video regarding the black pill illness. But in regards to the black pill stuff, I really need to start talking about the magic taco or the magic burrito because I always make my streams about that. And granted, that's a long running joke of mine between me and my religious critics, if you don't know what those are, and or other people that just don't like me. But overall, it's just a joke with the magic taco and the magic burrito sort of a title in the Hangouts. There we are. But yeah, nice. I get to turn off the laptop and there be no noise. Excellent. Also, I've been trying to practice up with my Spanish a bit more for certain things in my life, but yeah, it's everything seems to be doing pretty well. Um, well, there isn't much to talk about unless if someone comes in and asks. Like, I can certainly offer a conversation or two for people that want to have a conversation, and I can always answer any questions if anybody's willing to join or just willing to chat. Uh, Shoot, my dog's whining again, so I'll be right back. It'll only take me about 2 seconds, but I'll be right back. Well, and let's see here. Well, not much else is happening. False alarm with the dog part, but oh well. Let's see here. Oh, oopsie. There we are. There we are. I'm back on the proper mic this time. I actually put the wrong one on. Ironically, I have two mics. One goes for this computer, which is it's the Beast computer, which it's able to render out a 3.26 gigabyte videos. I use this bigger PC to render all the videos, and it has all the software. Like it has Audacity, it has Adobe Premiere Elements 14, I believe. Actually, it's Adobe's Premiere, 14, and it has a few other programs as well. And I use this bigger computer to do every edit. The laptop I usually occasionally do is usually for Hangouts from time to time, but for rare occurrences, I will use the Hangouts on this better computer. But I usually use the laptop for just to download videos and move them over to this computer. Then do the editing from this bigger, better computer because it does everything better. Now, the reason why I made the switch from doing everything from say a laptop to this bigger computer is because the laptop can only render so much. Like the laptop I was having could only render up to an hour's worth of content. But this bigger computer that I'm on right now can actually run for a give or take 8 hours worth of content. That's how much it can render, and it's like 8 times better, basically. Now, granted, it's not as fancy as most computers, but it's still a lot better than most. I will say that much. And the reason why you hear the humming is because I think someone wanted me to send them the link, so I'm also using the laptop just to send the links up because I still haven't been able to figure out how to get Twitter on the bigger computer because it's being stubborn. Oh, and that reminds me. For those who don't know, I also run a Google Plus community group. Now, these people in particular are privileged to get the free link on demand, and it's basically a free and it's basically a nice little safe place that I can just post a link without having YouTube snipers or whatever the case is, douchebags invading Hangout and ruining the fun for everybody. All right. Oh, wrong link. Whoopsie. Oh well, looks like I have to redo that. But oh well, at least that's the link to watch. So no harm intended. There we are. And thankfully, in the recent weeks, I've been able to fix the invite link finally. Turns out I was using the wrong link to invite people over, and that was driving a couple people mad, apparently. At least two in particular that got a little salty that I couldn't invite them into the Hangouts. But I'll have to say, I'm sorry, but if the links don't work, there's not much I can do about it. There just isn't. There really is no way I can fix that stuff. But thankfully, with the link parts to join, I think I fixed that enough so that people can start coming in again. But in a way, I really do wish that we could go back to those days where basically, like you could post a link in the side chats or even the description of Hangout, and nobody would jump on in and wreck the Hangout by porn sniping it. I really miss those days. I really do. And I just wish when it comes to those sort of stuff that YouTube could go back in that direction. Uh, drop the mic again. I hate when that happens. I truly hate when that happens. Now, for those who also don't know, my Hangouts aren't normally structured, unless if I'm pissed off for whatever reason or it's a direct response to someone. But for the most part, my Hangouts are just random topics. They don't have to be guided or anything, so you can talk about just about anything you like here. Also, part of the reason why I haven't been doing Hangouts as much lately is because life gets tough. Really, it does. And that's the truth of the matter of it, because life, you can't really tell it what to do. And sometimes life will say, hey, yo, you got to spend more hours into this. You could be saying, no, I don't want to, I would rather record a video. And then life comes around and says, okay, you're doing more hours than this, and it just happens. That's usually how I feel what the pinnacle of my life is sometimes. Just when it comes to time management lately, because I tell myself, okay, I'm going to record the video and talk about the white pill sort of concept more. Then life is like, nope, spend the extra 2 hours into studying for this concept instead. And you don't get a choice in there. But overall, I'll get over that sort of thing. Now, I've also been, not much else has been happening lately. I've been trying to explore new and creative ideas on how to express my thoughts on video. Granted, I'm not entirely sure if that'll work or not, but I am in the process of trying to experiment out with Astro 3, and that's just a MGTOW troll. I love trolling. I've done it before, and He really hates it when I troll him. So, so keep an eye out for that video too, because I love to troll the shit out of the living shit out of Estro 3. I and I've yet to pronounce his name properly, so I call him Estro 3 on purpose because for some reason I cannot pronounce his name. It's impossible. All right. Let me check Twitter. I'm just making sure I don't miss an opportunity to give out the link to some person that wants in. Because I truly do like the system that I have set up where anytime that someone wants to hop on in, I could easily give them the link to join. And I have a way of doing it without posting it on the side chat and risking trolls and coming in and hijacking the hangout. Let's see here. It's been a long time since I've talked to Atheist. Granted, he goes by name now as Friended, but I've been needing to have a chat with him for a long time. Let's see here. Now, I may also consider posting the link on Discord. Granted, I'm more hesitant about posting the link on Discord because that place, I don't know. That place gives me bad vibes if I ever post a link to join my Hangout, unless if it's a direct message to someone that's interested. Granted, I don't know if anybody's even interested there. Let's see here. Checking the Twitter. So far no takers, but it'll happen either way. Let's see here. Now, I know it may seem that nobody ever joins my Hangouts. People do from time to time. And I just do these just out of not really scheduled. And that's largely because I have experience in my life that, well, my life is just unpredictable. If I have time for a hangout, it usually comes out of blue, and I have very little time to actually to get ready and make plans for it. And the times when I do plan for hangouts, usually the worst happens, and I'm not able to do whatever I need to do, basically. Don't worry, I'm not drinking. I'm drinking iced tea for once instead of coffee. I've been trying to lay off the coffee lately. Reason being, well, coffee is good and all if you're trying to stay awake or wake up in the morning. That I can agree. Coffee really does help. But lately, I feel like I need to cut down on coffee just a tiny bit so that I don't develop any sort of allergic reaction to the coffee or something of that nature, really. Let me refresh the page here. So far, no one's here yet, but that's a-okay perfect with me. I don't mind nor care if people watch this or not. I would care less even if TJ somehow got in here, the legit TJ, and I would care less. That's really how much I care about popularity. I really don't care that much. Overall, it just bores me. Popularity really does bore me. And the reason being is you could be as popular as like the biggest popular person on YouTube. You could be that, but unfortunately, no matter what you say nor do, just I mean, if your arguments aren't that good, if if your table has like say three legs and four instead of four, then your argument's shitty, and regardless if you're popular or not, you're still wrong, and that's my stance on it. I'm just not for popularity these days. I really am not. Uh, uh, but I know that eventually, as my sub count will grow, eventually people will want to start chatting with me more and more lately, which is totally fine by me, either way. Okay, I'm being messaged by this person. Let me just double check. I just want to make sure this person's legit. Uh, no, that guy's not legit. He's just being an asshole again. But oh well. That's totally fine by me these days. Uh, hmm. Looks like this. Oh, yeah. I know how that feels. Being stuck with a shitty potato computer, and I know how that feels, and it hurts. But gotta live, learn with what you have, and make the best we have. And but my advice to that comment that I just got from another video of mine, the best thing to do with really bad laptops is, well, what you can do is you can try and either upgrade it. Now, I had my laptop upgraded three times, so it was never really meant to even make videos, but I've upgraded so much where it can do that. And the way I did is I had to buy entirely new motherboards to replace the old one, and I had to upgrade the fan and overclock it to zero point 0.2 times. And I ended up having an old slash super laptop for a while up until when I had to switch over to a new computer like this. Now, granted, my laptop's not really super; it's just twice as better. But granted, we're talking about an ancient thing that's like that comes from the 2009s. Laptops that come from 2009s are very old, and most of them don't work right. The laptops that comes from 2012 and further from that are a lot better. Just starting from 2012, they're just better. Uh, uh, let's see here. Hmm. Watching a meme from Twitter, and yeah, freaky. Oh well. Uh, let's see here. What's on the news lately? Well, apparently, just today, just something really bugs me about today. Like, I was trying to take the bus back home, just not school bus, but the transportation bus, like the communal just bus that you take, you pay the fare and you just take. Yeah, that bus. I was taking the bus for once instead of driving over, but But I quickly discovered that those buses, the ones I live near, break down easily. So it broke down the first time, which took 10 minutes for the driver to fix, and then it broke the second time, and the person had to call in and ask another bus driver to drive over and pick us all up and just go to our next transit stop station. That took over an hour, and I was pissed because traffic was horrible. So that's why I'm a little irritated right now. Uh, or I was a little irritated when I got home because it was like it took me that long just to get back to the home through bus. I mean, from now on, I'm just going to stick with driving. A lot more reliable there, as long as I'm able to keep up with that stuff. But still, just I hate it when life. I just hate it when there are small things can actually stop you from enjoying your day. And that little thing was the bus today. Not much of a solution I could have thought of other than just live for the flow and understand that, yeah, of course, that's certainly you could see it in a positive attitude. But I guess my only solution I could have come up with was just be a bit more careful for the bus, I suppose. Or the autobus, I believe you could say in Spanish. Uh, Hopefully, everything seems to be in order. Also, I forgot to mention if anybody needs help in doing videos and shooting the shit and basically troubleshooting ideas and concepts and responding to this or that, I'm good with that too. So just make sure to DM me and I'll do my best to help out. Um, I've done it before with a few people in particular. Um, let's see here. Uh, let's see here. No, no, not much else is happening really. What the heck? Why am I getting messages from this person? Look, I understand that this person's probably pissed off that I disagree with him over Angry MGTOW again, but jeez Louise, can you just leave me alone? Gosh, I've been getting messages over from that fail. I still can't believe that there are still Angry MGTOW supporters on YouTube, and they're, ironically enough, they think it's an offense to criticize the almighty Angry MGTOW, apparently. So they have to strawman me and paint me as a villain when I'm not. Uh, and so far, nothing's happening. Freaky. Uh, the reason why I don't join many other people's hangouts is because they rarely are on, and the ones that are on never invite me over, with the exception of few, of course. That's why I love the Quiet Atheist and Atheist Ranger whenever they're doing the hangouts, because at least they're willing to give me the link. Barely anybody else will. Even when I'm asking nicely, especially not when I'm being an asshole, of course. But oh, I know. I'm gonna try and invite I'm gonna invite a couple people over. Let's see here. I'm gonna invite James Maxwell, Dr. Ginger Maxwell. There we are. I know Dr. Ginger Hamster well, and he's been wanting to have a chat with me for some reason, so I figured why not? It's like, this is a perfect time. Plus, I'm looking at the subscription, and it looks like he just uploaded the video, so I'm assuming he's still online, so hopefully he'll be able to see that, and we could maybe have a chat about something. Because apparently he wants to. I don't know why, but we'll just see what happens. Or that's what I got from his last comment he made on one of my videos, at least. But I really do like Dr. Ginger's commentary on certain social justice stuff. Especially his voice. It just sounds like he belongs to a radio station. It really does. It's kind of a similarity of him and Seth Andrews, the thinking atheist. I don't know. Why is it those people have the lucky radio voice? And why I was never born with that, it's beyond me. Meh. Sorry, I can get a little salty because I was never born with that radio show host voice, that golden voice that radio show hosts want. Speaking of radio show hosts, I've noticed that the radio show host thing is quickly dying off, and it's quickly being replaced by podcasts on the internet. So, I wonder how the radio stations will react to this, and I'm just hoping they won't act like the media and start trying to censor everybody that does sort of the same thing, but on internet. I would argue even Seth Andrews would have an issue with that because that's his job basically. He has to do the Thinking Atheist live podcast, and that's sort of the same thing as a radio show. If they were to come after the podcasts, then I'd imagine he would have an issue with that. Then again, I don't know. Recently, he's been wish-washy at some of his positions. So who knows, anything's possible with him. Speaking of Seth Andrews, that's why I got pissed at him when he invited Steve Shives to his show. I even got even more pissed off when Steve Shives tried to indoctrinate him. Taking away my idol is offensive to me. One of the few people that I would argue was the sole reason of why I became an atheist. And basically what Steve did just made me pissed. But then again, there is a lot more hope for Seth Andrews than Steve Shives. I'll let you know that because Seth Andrews is not afraid of talking about the evils of Islam. He's not afraid to do that. He does it from time to time in his podcasts. He lets actual ex-Muslims come on his show and talk about that sort of stuff. Unlike Steve, he'll do that, and Steve is more likely to block those ex-Muslims for talking about how Islam is evil. So I see there a lot more hope with the thinking atheists to walk away from that SJW/feminism sort of belief. He has a higher chance of walking away from that than Steve Shives. Let's see here. But other than Stevie, Seth Andrews, yeah, he's been blessed to have that radio show host voice. And I kind of wish I was born with that radio show host voice because, I mean, that voice carries you a long ways. It gives you all the attention wherever you go. It helps formulate your arguments, your thesis, and also whenever you speak in that tone, that literally gives you the ability to say whatever you like, regardless if it's smart or dumb, and you can just walk away with dozens and dozens of people that want to pay you. It's like, how do you do that is my question. And why can't I be born with that ability? Because I'm jealous. That's what I'm saying. I'm jealous at the people that have the radio show host voice because they can seemingly do anything. I don't know. It's probably coming from their acting skills, but I doubt it's their acting because I've seen Seth Andrews talk on other hangouts, especially in ones where he's not even putting on his acting voice and it's still golden. Like, how does someone do that? Ugh. Again, I'm not upset with him. I'm just jealous. And by no stretch of imagination that I even have that voice myself. So don't assume that I have that voice. I wish I did, but I just don't. Right now I'm talking about radio show hosts, golden voices, and the possibility of Seth Andrews walking away from feminism. Granted, that's very, I don't know, that's wish-washy to me because that's a maybe, basically. He might walk away from the feminism sort of ideology, but that may be more, but that's questionable because here's the problem. If Seth were to leave the feminism sort of ideology group, like, he would lose a big chunk of his Patreon, because his Patreon accounts, they naturally like him whenever he's talking about religion. And the moment, if he leaves feminism, then not only he'd be cutting himself, basically like cutting his own foot off with financial, but people like Aaron Raw and Steve Shives, notably, and a few other of the big feminist/atheist supporters of his will flip out. And he doesn't want that. But I've heard lately there are rumors that he doesn't agree with the feminism sort of stuff. Whether that is true or not, we have no idea. But if it is true, then he's sort of trapped, where he doesn't agree with all these feminism ideologies, but at the same time, if he speaks out, instantly his Patreon will get chipped, and all the bigger feminist YouTubers will flip out on him. Like, Steve Shives will mention Seth Andrews constantly in his videos on how he's a better person, that he's a better YouTuber because he agrees with me and blah, blah, blah. And whenever someone does walk away from feminism that Steve actually likes and respects, Steve just goes a little crazy. If you're lucky enough to have an inside person that sends you info about Steve Shives, like me, you will know that Shives and his Twitter. Shives and his Twitter, he flips out a lot whenever things don't go his way. Like when Trump was elected, oh my gosh, I was being sent with long tweets that lasted for hours with Steve ranting like a madman. He just simply would not stop. He was compulsive. In fact, the last video I made about Steve Shives, I mean, my gosh, he was talking about how people wanted to compare him with Jesus and how just, ugh. Steve is compulsive. I'm just saying. He has a compulsive problem with people he does not like. And that's what happened during the presidential election. After the election, he became compulsive with that presidential person, which I find to be scary because anybody obsessed with that person enough just spills disaster for his mental psyche. I'm also having red skin Spanish peanuts. They're actually pretty good. So I would highly recommend having the peanuts, and I'll be right back because I think my dog's barking again. So it'll take me about 2 minutes for me to calm him down, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just had to calm him down a bit. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, the long tail of the Seth Andrew. Uh, but going back to what I was saying, is saying if Seth Andrews left feminism, he'd be cutting off financial support and cutting off a lot of bigger support from the other people in his group. In fact, I'd imagine they stalk him for a while until they eventually give up. But let's check in the chats. Dark Elfish, Steve Shives died for your lose. Well, he did. He's since he did. Yeah, Steve Shives died for everybody's lulls. He's obscure now. Still debating on whether or not should I continue responding to Shives. And I actually have a video about that where basically I'm saying don't drag me into this and being in the funniest satirical way. By the way, let me know if you want in. Anytime you want in, just let me know and I'll give you the link to join. Ah, that was Shives. Shives was trying to compare Jesus to Trump apparently, and he was trying to make that silly and that extremely silly claim that somehow Republicans saw him as Jesus. And then when he was making that veil, he was smiling just with this love letter of Trump. And it was like, I was there looking at the screen like, oh my gosh, that's disturbing. Ugh. That's the only veil of Shives I'll never respond to because the vibes when I was watching that was just, ugh. I mean, I don't care if you are Democrat or Republican, but if you see him as Jesus, I mean, that's a scary thought indeed. Especially coming from a compulsive individual known as Shives, like even Shives now is still compulsive. Like I have an inside person that likes to send me info about Shives every now and then, and yeah, and he would tell me that yeah, Shives is extremely compulsive with people he doesn't like. Like he would not stop talking about Milo Yiannopoulos for a full week, and that was before that drama started with the Milo Yiannopoulos and him protecting uh, pedophiles and stuff of that nature, really. And And what's even more disturbing about Shibes is that his Twitter net of fans is highly censored. Like anybody that talks against feminism, or at least his version, not only they're instantly blocked from Twitter from him, but also if you're his Patreon and disagree with him, you instantly get revoked, and you won't be able to donate to anything to him anymore. And and also he can be also compulsive in asking random fans of his of like what they think about him, which again he's just compulsive. I always found it sad that I knew him as a better person once before the feminism took over and before everything. I actually spoke with the man. And the big reason why I still hate his guts is because he treated me like dirt at one point and another ends. And what's worse is I remember him being an anti-Islamic person. Like he actually made five stupid things about Muhammad's Islam Part 1 and 2 and that nature, really. Ironically enough, I this is where my guilt comes in because believe it or not, I don't think anybody knows about this. Not on YouTube, but I might as well say it now. But he doesn't actually edit his scripts or writes them per se. He did start doing that um, right when he made that video of why atheism and feminism should be joined forces. That was the first time he actually started writing his own scripts. Before that point, he relied on some of his fans to do that, actually. And this is where my guilt comes in because I was actually one person and another person actually helped him write a five stupid things about Muhammad. And that's probably why Steve will never acknowledge me because ever since I disagreed with him one point, he cannot acknowledge that I actually helped him make a video of why Muhammad's a pedophile, which is true. That is true that Muhammad is a pedophile in the Islamic faith and religion. But Steve doesn't want to recognize that he had a past dealing with me when I actually helped him out make that video. But I only helped out in terms of writing the script. He did all the editing. But overall, Steve is kind of a terrible writer. That's why he used to ask a lot of people to write his scripts for him. But ever since that video where he tried to combine atheism and feminism together, what he did is he basically tried investing into improving his grammar, and he just ceased asking people to write his scripts. But that's a big guilt in my life, really. That I actually helped a man make a 5 stupid things about Islam. Then instead of becoming this person you would imagine him to be, this big all anti-Islamic person, then he turns around and becomes the exact opposite, a loving Muslim man, which I find to be funny. But regardless, people will not believe me, regardless, even if it's the truth, which it is. Because we have a new generation of people who are ignorant of actually what happened years ago, that only know Shibes of what the stupid thing says of what he's done now instead of what happened years ago. Like I remember Steve when he made not only those when I helped him make those anti-Islam videos. I also remember a point when he used to have 5 stupid things about feminism, and where he tackled against feminism, but that video was unfortunately taken down shortly after he became a feminist himself, which I should have known the signs when that started happening. But oh well. Uh, well, let me know what you think in the comments or section, and you can always ask me about any question. You can let me know. Hmm. Let's see here. Let me type this out. I'm gonna try this out. There. Uh, let's see what's going on. Hmm. Getting more info from my inside man, apparently. Let's see what's going on here. Like, what are you sending me now? Is it Shives going mad again? Okay, what is this baloney? Seriously, this is weird. Oh no, not again. I really gotta tell this informist person that I'm not interested in him talking about Republicans. Ugh. Oh, you think I'm going to sleep later? All right, that's fine. Have a nice sleep. Again, for anybody else that's watching, if you want in, just let me know. Let's see here. Let's see what he's been sending me. Oh, fugger nuts. The amount of stupidity coming from Shibes from these tweets. This is why I've given up on responding to Shibes, because every time I do, it makes me angry because of that guilt I mentioned. How I knew him as a better person at one point, then he switched to becoming a not so good person. I have that burden of knowing a good person, or once was a good person, turned bad. Let's see here. And apparently, not much else other than rantings, and he loves to shill his Patreon, apparently, repeatedly. No. Like, this is like the eighth post of his Patreon. It's like ninth. He really wants to. Wait a minute. Is it possible he's lost so many subscribers to the point where it's starting to affect his Patreon? If so, that may explain why he's constantly posting like nine posts of Patreon every day. Number 10, and that's 12. Huh. Granted, the two were on the previous day, but wow. Uh, and there's that veil on him on his stance on ancient atheists. Looks like he's trying to go back to his roots of talking about atheism. Granted, I don't think everybody's going to forget that he's a crazy feminist or SJW, and nobody's going to forget that. No matter what he says and does, is not going to earn them any credibility, unfortunately, on his part. But, oh well. Let me just check on the Twitter and just close out these screenshots that the informant sent me. I'm going to check Twitter if anybody else is interested in joining. Nah, so far nobody's interested yet, but oh well. Hmm. Let's see here. Okay, not much else is happening. Uh, well, this is Brendan Thinker. I'm signing out, and have a lovely day. I'm just ending this hangout now because, well, I feel like it. And I feel like I've said long enough to talk about a couple subjects. But, anyways, let me know if you ever want to be invited to the show because I'll do my best to actually plan out these hangouts, even if life is unfair sometimes. But I'll do my best to invite anybody in that wants in and talk about random stuff or guided stuff or whatever you like.